Hey, hello guys. Let me just make sure we're recording because sometimes I forget. How's everyone doing? Happy Tuesday. We'll wait for everyone to come in. No one has their cameras on. That's awesome. Okay, let's see. Okay, so let's just get into today's lesson. Okay, so first, this is the psychology of selling consuming for our final project on social psychology. A lot of lectures later. Okay, so social psychology perspectives and how it interacts with human behavior in general. So first I want to talk about the attribution theory, which says that we can explain someone's behavior by crediting their stable and enduring traits. This would be their dispositional attribution, or the situation at hand, which would be situational attribution. So in other words, we can explain the actions of those around us by looking at the environmental factors around them. Social psychology can also be used to explain why historical perpetrators such as Hitler and slave owners, and even smaller, more relevant things today like bullies and popular groups in high school and middle school have seen success. So digging a little bit deeper into this, I think personally a large part of people's actions, from their purchasing behavior to their daily decisions, are based on the identities that they choose. And these identities are most likely a result of many things, some of which may even point to other schools of psychology. But I believe that we choose our identity based on the groups that we, one, want to fit into, two, want to stand out from, and three, don't want to be associated with at all. So I think overall we do conform to what we think is socially desirable. However, what is socially desirable is different for each person. For example, I don't particularly perceive Kim Kardashian, from her life to her interests to her looks, as something that I would want to be. However, Liv Tyler as Corey Mason in the amazing movie Empire Records does embody someone who I would want to be. Therefore, a lot of aspects of my identity, such as my taste in clothes and music and hobbies, and maybe even my diet of being vegan, are byproducts of socially what I think is acceptable of that crowd, that Corey Mason crowd. And this is what we call self-categorization. That's correct. So social psychology, specifically in marketing and advertising. So I think that social psychology tactics are the best method for effective marketing because it uses aspirational desires rather than specific individual preferences. And doing this using aspirational figures reaches a much broader target audience, as well as maintaining a good image for the company. Kind of more specifically, I think today's market, we see a big use of influencer marketing, which is highly effective, knowing that from personal experience, I've bought something from influencer marketing. I know peers who have bought something from influencer marketing, and companies have continued to use influencer marketing, meaning that they know that it's working. So an example of social psychology and marketing and advertising using those aspirational figures. Oh, of course, the video doesn't work. There we go.
Tonight I'm going downtown, I'm going downtown, I'm going downtown. Hey, ain't nothing you can tell me that I don't already know. Oh yeah, been around the block a few times, seen it all before. Oh yeah, I know people in high places, hot tub in the penthouse suite. Oh yeah, but all my real friends to the end still riding the downtown street. Tonight I'm going downtown, I'm going downtown, I'm going downtown, get down. I'm a old dog, but I got new tricks. Working hard from 8 to 6. Just watch how I get my kicks. Tonight I'm going downtown.
this one. What is this one? Oh my goodness, I probably shouldn't show you guys this, but let's watch it anyway. Here's another example.
Snow day. 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 Touch. Tackle.
So Nike uses a lot of aspirational figures in their marketing, especially when they're using professional athletes, because that is the ultimate goal, obviously. But also something like this, where it's like, can you be part of this elite group that is working out in the snow? Well, you can if you own Nike. And then another example.
Free markets and less
Oh
government
my gosh,
intervention.
this is totally the
I
wrong
think
video.
For my
How did that get in there? And then last example, Cheetos. I don't think Cheetos does this very often, but this is kind of another example of using aspirational figures or kind of an aspirational social group that you want to be a part of. Oops.
Living the dream.
Cool fort. Can I come up?
Depends. What's the password?
Mattress? Come on up.
Impressive, sir.
Take a Cheetos break with Cheetos.
Yes, amazing. So social psychology and business in general. Overall, I think social psychology methods are currently the most effective for businesses, or at least how I would want to market and run a business, because of how much our world now operates socially. We are constantly connected at all hours of the day, either in person, on the web, or on social media, meaning that we're always in the position to compare ourselves to others and be exposed to aspirational figures and lifestyles. Instagram, pictured here as an example of one of them. So personal thoughts on social psychology. So when looking at the many advertisements that we looked at in class pertaining to other methods of psychology, I think I tend to have found them to be more obvious and maybe even a little bit more raunchy, such as the Jack in the Box commercials. Alcohol commercials, very common with that. Let's see. The subconscious marketing, where it was, no, not subconscious, motivational, where they would use sex a lot. So even though these ads were kind of, in my opinion, easy ads that mainly used females and sex, they did work, which is obviously why they're used, but I didn't necessarily think that they were innovative or creative or genius. However, when we looked at Apple's advertisements in relation to social psychology, I think it was amazing how they used both sides of social psychology to market themselves as a way to fit in, because absolutely everyone, most everyone now has a Mac or an iPhone, but also to stand out and to be someone who is in this elite group that is thinking differently and achieving these great things. So I think from a marketing standpoint, social psychology kind of was the most innovative to me. And then lastly, some more personal thoughts on social psychology, kind of talking about the social comparison theory that we learned about, which suggests that individuals strive to gain accurate assessments of themselves by comparing their own opinions, situation, and abilities to those of others, making note of the relative differences. I think subconsciously we compare ourselves in this way more than we think and would like to admit to ourselves that we do. And this goes back to what I talked about a lot last semester in our class, whereas I'm constantly kind of thinking about whether it's our human nature to be competitive or if it's something that we've learned through society and through the environment around us. So kind of, are we built and have evolved to be competitive for survival reasons, or is it more something that we've learned through things like spelling bees and soccer games and awards on campus and little things like that that have geared us to want to be number one? So I think social psychology was the most interesting for me in that perspective. And I think that that's all that we have for today. Have a great semester, everyone. Have a great day. Thank you.